Hi guys, welcome to my movie fan channel. My name's Tyler. Today's review is going to be for WandaVision episode 6. If you guys are new to the channel, make sure you give me a thumbs up down below, hit subscribe and the little notification bell, that way you get alerts to when I post a new video. And share this video around all your friends and family on Facebook, Twitter, and all the different social media outlets. That really helps out the channel and helps spread the word of what we do here, talking movies and having fun. I like the Malcolm in the Middle, late 90s, early 2000s vibe of the intro to this episode, and also the entire episode, costuming and everything. As they've done with previous weeks, they've picked an era of sitcom history, and they have fleshed that out and brought it into the MCU and just the comic book genre, and I love that they're doing that week to week. And I'm a 90s, early 2000s kid, so growing up in that time, it was cool to see that on the screen and how they captured that so well. Last week we had Vision point out that there's no kids in Westview in the whole town. That's a bizarre thing. But then this week they're like, oh, well, it's the Halloween episode, there's a ton of kids. I also love how they incorporated the comic book accurate costumes. Wanda's, Vision's, Quicksilver's, even the kids were wearing like Quicksilver's outfit. At the start of this episode, we see Vision doesn't remember Wanda's brother at all, even though he met Pietro in Age of Ultron. He doesn't remember that, he was a lot different, and he doesn't really remember who he is. He said that in previous episodes. I don't know who I am. I'm confused. I'm scared. So this episode, he goes off and he's trying to figure out what's going on. Wanda pushes back against this. I don't know why she doesn't stop it. Maybe she really can't control him, like Vision said she can't. But we'll have to see, because she seemed kind of pissed that he was going off on his own, but he still went and did it. On the other side of the hex, Tyler Hayward kicks out the sidekick Avengers, and they end up infiltrating and sneaking around the S.W.O.R.D complex anyway. While the kids are trick-or-treating, Wanda makes a kick-ass reference, which was a superhero movie that both actors who played Quicksilver, Evan Peters, and Aaron Taylor Johnson were in. Kick-ass, so that's kind of funny, and they allude to that in this episode. In the in-episode commercial for the yogurt, which was bizarre, by the way, it was a animated 90s style ad. Like I said, it was eerie and creepy how dark it got, and the kid's face was melting away to a skeleton, and they mentioned magic, so maybe it has something to do with Wanda and her past. All the other ones seem to, but I'm interested to see where these commercials are leading to, because it doesn't look like we have that quite figured out yet. I haven't heard anybody really make a good theory about where they're leading to, but supposedly, according to the creators of the show, it's going to be kind of important. Pietro says that he was shot and heard Wanda's voice, thought she needed help, and he came to Westview to help her. So that's bizarre. That's the most we've gotten into why he's there. And they ask pointing questions about, why do you look different? Why don't you have an accent? What's going on? How are you here? The memories that they have, they're comparing memories and they're not lining up. I still can't believe that they got Evan Peters in this show and nobody knew about it, and that they might be tying in the Fox X-Men, because obviously he was Quicksilver in X-Men. I'm curious to see how they're going to do it. I'm just along for the ride, though. I don't know what's going on. I don't think any of the fans really get the full picture. You might have an idea of some things. You might be right on some things. You might be proven wrong on other things. But I just think that that's why this show is so great, because we're just along for the ride, and we're being taken on this journey the way Marvel and Kevin Feige and all the directors and storytellers want to take us on. Like I said, Vision is kind of off on his own. This episode puts a lot of focus on him again, finding little inconsistencies in the world that he's living in and questioning why this is. So we see that the sidekick Avengers are now hacked into the system outside of Westview, and they're using S.W.O.R.D's information and data that they've collected, and Hayward has this interest in Vision, and we saw that Vision's body was taken apart and it looked like they were studying it or trying to use it for something, which seems like it might be aggressive warlike things if we see the actions of Hayward just trying to take Wanda out with the drone. It looks like they might have nefarious purposes for Vision and his powers and the things that make him up. So they were specifically tracking his vibranium signature, and that's kind of alarming. It doesn't seem like he can be fully trusted, and that they might break the Sokovia Accords and Vision's dying wishes, as Wanda technically has, bringing him back to life or using him as a weapon. And it seems like both sides are really trying to use him as a weapon. So I love Vision. I hope he breaks free of this and is able to overcome, both sides trying to kill him or, use him in certain ways. And he just wants to help people. And we see that in his dying moments again, as he's like being torn apart. He's breaking through the barrier and he's asking, we got to help these people, and he's thinking about other people. That's why he's worthy of Mjolnir. I saw a meme somebody posted on Facebook that this is why he's worthy of Thor's hammer, is because he puts others' well-beings above himself, and he continues to do that. But he flies up above the town in this episode, very reminiscent of Man of Steel, and I like the focus that this episode put on Vision, because he's a great character that we didn't get a lot of and we didn't really care about before, as well as Wanda in Age of Ultron and the other movies that came before. So I like that with this show they really needed this to make them like all-time lovable characters, especially now that Captain America is gone, seemingly Iron Man's gone. We lost Chadwick Boseman, unfortunately, in real life and the other side of things. So Black Panther, as big of a role as he was supposed to take on, it looked like might not be taking on such a big role, so that we need the other heroes to step up, and I think they're doing that well with Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. But now we got Wanda and Vision are really stepping it up and becoming A-list Avengers. My favorite scene in this episode was when Vision pulls up to Agnes and he kind of breaks her free from the spell for a second, and she says, "You're Vision, you're an Avenger." He doesn't know who the Avengers are, so that's interesting. And we knew that he was not remembering his life before, and he had no recollection of why he was in Westview and what was going on, but now we know that he doesn't even know that he's an Avenger. But he is still trying to save the day, and I liked that this scene was really well acted by both the actors involved, and it was really creepy. Everything with Vision pushing towards the end of town was extremely creepy and had a lot of horror elements to it. And with Sam Raimi set to direct Doctor Strange, I'm excited for there to be some horror infused into these MCU movies, because I think that's a genre that they have yet to really delve deep into. But WandaVision has definitely done some of that, with some jump scares involving Quicksilver and Vision, because they are dead, and Wanda will turn and just see them as like creepy, dead, bullet hole, wounded. And I love that horror aspect, and I hope that they, like I said, delve more into that, because they did do it really well in this episode and previous ones. One of my biggest takeaways that I took from this episode was that when Monica Rambeau talks about going back into Westview, Darcy tells her, like, this is changing your molecular structure. Her cells are changing, and this is basically, to me, saying that she's mutating. So I have a theory that this is going to involve X-Men characters, and as we see, Wanda expands out Westview's borders and her influence over the people. So I think more and more people are going to be affected by this, and it will change them. I think that's going to make them future X-Men, but I also think that Evan Peters came through from the multiverse, and he is Quicksilver from that universe. I think more X-Men will follow suit, and I think that will be some of the more experienced ones, and that'll be Charles Xavier at the very least, who will start a school and be able to teach these new mutants how to use their powers and how to use them right and not be a harmful, dangerous element to themselves and other people. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see where they go with it, to see if my theory is right or completely wrong, because it could be completely wrong. I think everybody's theory could be completely wrong, and they could do something totally unique with this show, as they have continued to do week after week. And I really enjoyed all the cliffhanger elements of the end of every episode. I can't wait until next week's, and it always leaves me wanting more, and I can't wait to see what we have in store for us. So let me know what you guys thought down below. Like I said in the beginning, give me a thumbs up and hit the like button. subscribe, and the little notification bell. Also share this video around to all the social media outlets, Facebook and Twitter. We're doing really well on there, and I'm also really active on those and the comments. So I will see you guys in the next review.